Good evening, everyone. We start with breaking news right now in the West Valley. A massive fire flaring out of control. You could see that thick black smoke from so many different parts of the valley. That fire burning in Glendale near the US 60 and Glendale Avenue, dangerously close to other businesses and eventually shutting down the 60 to traffic in both directions, along with surface streets and closures as well. And we do want to get out to Team 12's Jonathan McCall, who's been following this fire for us. He's live now with the latest details. Jonathan?
Hey Rachel, you know what? Right now, crews appear to have the upper hand on this fire. Those images of that thick black smoke that could be seen all across the valley have now turned into white smoke, which is a good sign that crews have finally been able to kind of contain, get a hold of this fire after drenching it with water for a number of hours. And that's exactly what fire crews have been doing. Right now, it's still unknown exactly how this massive fire started, but we do know that fire crews from Phoenix, Glendale, and Peoria have been here on scene since around 6 o'clock. That's when this fire first sparked. As we mentioned, drenching water on this area at being called a recycling facility. As we mentioned, that fire starting just after 6 o'clock tonight. As Glendale fire crews were headed to this scene, that's when they say they received word that it was sparked by an 18-wheeler that was carrying fuel. When they arrived here on scene, they say it's that 18-wheeler that likely exploded somehow, causing that massive ball of fire that has been seen all across the valley. During that firefight, that's when they learned that a business that handles plastic recyclables also on fire. That caused this fire to go to a 2-alarm fire as crews were battling not only that tanker fire from that 18-wheeler that exploded, but also the plastics that were now on fire at this business caused by those flames as well. Folks that we talked with say they heard those pops, those bangs, and then that's when they say they heard those blasts. They came outside and saw the smoke. Here's what some folks in this area had to say.
I heard a couple of pops. I was actually in my trailer and I just looked out the window and I came outside and I heard sirens, and then I walked out, and there was like after pop after pop after pop. I'm guessing it's oil, because I work on cars a lot. I'm guessing it's oil, gas, brake fluid, all that kind of stuff for the transportation in Glendale.
I was in my house and I heard a bunch of pops, and I looked out the back window and I could see the smoke. And that's when I started walking out here to see what was going on.
The good news in all of this, despite the massive scene that we've been seeing all day with those flames, that smoke, no injuries reported from anybody in this area and no injuries from firefighters as well. But it is definitely going to be a long night for fire crews, as we mentioned, from 3 different fire agencies who still remain here on scene, monitoring for hot spots, drenching out flames that are still popping up from this massive 2-alarm fire that again sparked just around 6 o'clock this evening with a tanker fire here at this area right along Grand Avenue and Myrtle. As Rachel mentioned earlier on in the newscast, if you are headed to this area, you may want to find another way to get around. That's because Grand Avenue is shut down in both directions right now, so crews can continue to monitor those flames and try to put out any hot spots as they pop up. We'll continue to stay here on scene. We'll have another update coming up in just a few minutes in the newscast. Meanwhile, we are live tonight in Phoenix. I'm Jonathan McCall, or Glendale, I should say, live in Glendale. I'm Jonathan McCall, 12 News.